4 days like no other.
Who are the punters backing?
It's the one we've all been waiting for.
World-class racing.
The greatest show on turf.
The calm before the roar.
Betfred, at the heart of Cheltenham.
It's going to be a very different Cheltenham this year. The theatre is empty, but we still have the stars of the show, the horse. The drama's going to be played out over 28 races. It's day one of the 2021 Cheltenham Festival.
Shishkin being lifted on the far side by Nico Boyville. It's very tight between them.
Put the kettle on, is plucky, and she simply will not be denied.
Eppertont is in front, and she's not for catching. Running the waterline, Honeysuckle is in front. She's trying to fend off the challenge, and she's done it. Oh, what a lead, emphatic. Champ storming through. Barry Geraghty on Champ has lifted the prize late on. A first festival victory, the champion chasers Politologue. Sam Crow has his head in front. Mellon rallies close to the finish. It's tight. 50 yards to go. Min is hanging on grimly to win the Ryanair.
Listener Oscar has taken the stayers hurdle. Gosha makes a desperate mistake. Burning victory has won the triumph hurdle. Motish is running and they hit the line. Motish in the centre.
Album photo, Violet. Album photo. Back-to-back goal cups.
Yes, it's going to be a very different Cheltenham Festival. You don't need binoculars this year, you just need a remote control. I'll be roaring at home. We're going to be on air at 9 o'clock every morning. Then at midday with Fred's pushes, and then at 6 o'clock tonight, we've got a wrap-up show when hopefully you'll be celebrating and you've done some bookie bashing. Now, I said it's a very different Cheltenham. We've got a Willie Mullins hot pot in the first, and we've got a Nicky Henderson hot pot in the second. So familiar faces are dominating the betting on day one of the Cheltenham Festival. Tom Lee is going to be alongside me throughout the week for the morning line. Good morning, Tom. Good to see you. Probably the first time you won a suit for a while.
It is, and what a year it's been. Don't we need a bit of Cheltenham magic? And over the next 4 days, there is just fireworks to come out on the track. I know there's no spectators. I know there's no betting shops. But even so, it's something very special. We count down to it all year long. Finally, in a year where we need a bit of happiness, a bit of joy and a bit of excitement out on the track. Oh boy, ready to go, 1:20 this afternoon.
Yeah, a bit of escapism after the year we have had. Two huge gambles going on, Matt. Appreciate it in the first, Honeysuckle in the champion hurdle. And there's one reason, well, they're Irish trained, and it looks like all the Irish horses are getting back today, but also the going. That's where they're getting back. That unexpected rain on Sunday night. What happened last night?
Yeah, well, they had, as you mentioned, 10 millimetres of rain on Sunday night, and there was 1 millimetre overnight to add to that. And Simon Clay said it's around about a 50-50 split, but he's got to go soft, good to soft in places. For me, it's perfect jumping ground, and the weather, possible shower later on this morning, but they're mostly dry for the rest of the week. So as the week goes on, it will tighten up and get quicker and quicker. So that is the going, soft, good to soft in places. And I say we are set fair for a pretty dry week. And of course, you mentioned the gamble going on Honeysuckle. Well, don't shop around because we are top price. All runners, including the unbeaten mare in the champion hurdle, due off at 305, so no need to shop around. If you want a bet, come here. Top price on every single runner in the champion hurdle, Mark. And I mentioned it is a feature at 305, the sandwiched in between a cracking 7-race card. We start with the Supreme Novices hurdle, as always, of course. We appreciate it has been well backed for Willie Mullins. Then we've got Arkle, the Arkle Novices Chase, where Shishkin is a hot pot in that. Then the big handicap, the first handicap of the meeting, the Ultima, over 3 miles over fences. Then that featured champion hurdle, the Mares Hurdle comes along at 3.40. The Boodles Juvenile handicap will be a cavalry charge at 4.15. And the longest race of the festival concludes day one at 4.50.
Yeah, we've got extra places on quite a few of these races as well. With 6 places on the 4.15, the Boodles Juvenile over Fred Winter to most of us. We're 5 places on the Ultima over 2.30. We're 4 places on the National Hunt Chase. Unfortunately, our betting shops are closed at the moment. We understand why. We will be back soon. But you're going to get all the same offers you'd normally get in the betting shop online. And as well, if you've not got a Betfred account, we can kick you off, give you a little funds to get going. Watch this.
The calm before the roar.
Who are the punters backing?
The greatest show on turf.
It's the one we've all been waiting for.
World-class racing.
4 days like no other. Sign up to Betfred this Cheltenham using promo code CHELT40 and get up to £40 in free bets when you stake £10. Betfred, at the heart of Cheltenham. Download our app or visit betfred.com.
Right, I promise you that's the only advert we're going to play because we're going to talk racing. But if you've not got an account, it's really easy to do. And it's an absolute doddle to download the app. It's an absolute doddle to download the app. Anyone who knows me is IT. I am rubbish, but even I can download this, and even I am able to bet on it as well. Right, we've introduced a team in the studio. At the track for Betfred is TalkSport's Rupert Bell.
Welcome to Cheltenham for the first day of Festival 2021. How different is it going to be without that buzz of the crowd? But I think the excitement expected to be generated on the track will make up for it in a little way, but we've got so many treats to look forward to. Had a little bit of rain overnight. It's soft, good to soft in places. That's the official description. It's going to be a mildish day today, but whatever, it's going to be the most wonderful day's racing. I think with the champion hurdle, it's set fair with the big 3, Honeysuckle, Epatante and Goshen. But I've got a little soft spot for Silver Streak. Love that horse and just hope he can run a big race and might be able to get into the 3 and just be a bit of a party pooper for the big 3. Elsewhere, well, it's going to be Appreciated maybe, but don't discount Metier and Shiskin could be the star turn. Whatever, should be a fantastic opening day. Looking forward to it immensely.
We'll hear from Rupert throughout the week. And if you're out and about this afternoon, you can actually hear Rupert commentate on Talk Sport as well. But look, if you're working from home, don't be having any Zoom meetings this afternoon. Watch on ITV, or you can watch your races on our app as well. You can watch for the last race, which is not on ITV. Have a bet and you can watch the last race on our app as well. But yeah, working from home this week, perfect, isn't it, for the Cheltenham Festival? Right then, gamble going on in the champion hurdle, by the way. Honeysuckle now as short as 6-4 of Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore. But let's start with the opener, which is the Supreme. And Matt, what price did we go for Appreciate It on Sunday night? Because that price looks very good now, because they're getting stuck into Appreciate. 2 reasons, I think. 1, it's Mullins, and 2, that rain.
Yeah, indeed. People there with the 6-4 from Sunday night are quite pretty right now because, look, odds on 5-6. And do we hear a little bit of wind there at the track with Rupert? That ground might be drying out already. But it is going to start soft, good to soft in places. That'll suit Appreciate It. Odds on 5-6. Don't forget, Fred will be here with midday, and I'm not sure what he's going to do with something like this. However, we've got Metier, the best of the British Challenge, Grade 1 winner himself for the Toll Hurdle. He's 11-2. Bally Adam, twice seen Appreciate Its backside this season. He's at 6-1. Bit of nibble for Blue Lord again. Willie Mullins got such a good record in the race. Stable second string, don't discount him, 9-1. Soaring Glory really weak, out to 11-1 for John Joe O'Neill, and we know a few grumpy Charlies down there, 33-1. But yeah, 5-6 Appreciate It. Odds on. Hopefully, people who joined us on Sunday night are sat there with a ticket for 6-4, Mark.
Tom, Appreciate It. Second in the bumper, trained by Willie Mullins. He's won the Supreme on 6 times. I don't know. I keep finding reasons not to back Appreciate It. And then I keep coming round and thinking, well, surely it is the bet to get us going. in a Supreme.
All these great hot pots this week, Mark. Appreciate it. Monkfish, Envoi Alain.
It looks an easy game, doesn't it?
Shishkin. It looks an easy game. We can talk it up, but it's as easy as finding a pair of clippers during lockdown, because actually, don't forget, we get lured in as racing fans. Boy, do we love Cheltenham. But of course, some of those horses, when they get to the bottom of the hill, Matt will tell you, they get to the bottom of the hill, they look up what looks like a mountain, and they just want to throw up. They haven't got the heart, the stomach, the mettle, or the guts to actually go up there and get the job done. This day 12 months ago, or this meeting 12 months ago, don't forget, Appreciate It, got in a scrap with Fernie Hollow. 15-8 favourite for the bumper. Did he go through with it? No. Expensive letdown. So I'm not saying he won't win. When you look at the stats, they'll say that horses rated 153 or higher. That's his rating. 4 of the last 8 winners of this race had won a Grade 1 race last time out. Appreciate It. Leopardstown, very sharp he was the last day. However, that parameter also applies to Metier, who won the Tolworth at Sandown. And then you're getting into some of these interesting each-way horses.
Metier has not seen the Cheltenham Hill.
Never seen the Cheltenham Hill. Furthermore, don't forget, we've got this tearaway front runner as well, For Pleasure for Alex Hales. He's going to go off like a scalded cat. How does that alter the complexion of the race?
Let's talk Metier in a moment. Right, this is Appreciate It, beating Ballyadam at Leopardstown at the Dublin Festival. All right, I'm going to make this one point. All right, it's soft, good to soft at Cheltenham. Now, some of these Irish horses, especially this year, have been running on absolutely bottomless, Tom.
Yes, they have. And the Willie Mullins horses, it doesn't seem to affect them. They seem to be able to quicken off almost anything. And these are good horses spaced in behind. And yet, he leaves a yawning gap back to them. That's 3 from 3 for the season. 1 first time out at Cork, 1 at Leopardstown, produced this at the Dublin Festival of Racing. It marks him down, Mark, as a worthy favourite. And yet, we get drawn into the hype and the excitement. I've huge respect for Appreciate It. I've equal respect for Metier. But don't be drawn into thinking that this is a penalty kick for a horse who won on that type of ground last time out. Yeah, Willie Mullins would have been chuffed to see that rain falling on Sunday night.
On the flip side of it, I'm thinking what we're doing doubting Willie Mullins. So what is he, top trainer, 72 winners at the Cheltenham Festival. He's won the Supreme 6 times. So why am I trying to talk myself out of Appreciate It?
Because you're looking for a bit of value, because you're a wise man, because it's Cheltenham, and because 12 months ago, Appreciate It went up the hill and found one too good. The same could and might happen again. I've enormous respect for him. The market says he'll win. He probably will, Mark. But in a race where you got horses at big prices, imagine if there's an upset here and you manage to get 1 second or third in the frame, each way at a nice price. Well, suddenly that's better than backing a 5 to 6 winner.
Well, I've backed Willie Mullins second string, actually. Yeah,
so
Blue Lord.
You've backed Blue Lord, who we've just seen on that last clip.
Let's talk the British Challenge, then. Now, Metier, that performance in the Tolworth was very, very impressive.
Well, whatever wins today, if they're to best Metier, they've got to do what hasn't been done yet, and that's beat him over hurdles, because you see him progressive and improving and developing and growing mentally and indeed physically. He's only a 5-year-old, and yet Newton Abbot, then Ascot, then Sandown Park. Harry Fry hasn't been shy in upping the ambitions and the parameters for this horse, and he keeps meeting the task.
And Harry Fry knows what he's doing. He basically, well, he looked after Rock and Ruby when he won the Champion Hurdle.
You know what I mean, Harry, Rock on Ruby. He has currently and in the past had excellent horses through his hand. He's an enormously capable trainer, no problems there on any score. But let's not forget, this isn't a 2-horse race. I know the market doesn't like him, but I want to inject another name in here. The winner of the old Tote Gold Trophy, now the Betfair Hurdle, is a horse called Soaring Glory. Matt mentioned when they put the betting up.
John Joe said that rain was no good on Sunday night.
Would this be the same John Joe who might be managing a bit of expectations? He's got an awful short memory, because go back to December 2019, that Soaring Glory won a listed bumper, or I beg your pardon, was placed in a listed bumper at Ascot on heavy ground. Not soft or good to soft, on heavy ground. I don't think that's a problem.
Well, let's get more on the British Challenge, trained by Henry Fry, Metier. Let's hear from the trainer.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Obviously, Metier would be our biggest hope, and we're pretty sure that the Supreme obviously is the target. He's been in good form since his Tolworth win, and yeah, we decided in the end to skip the rearranged Betfair to keep him fresh and well for the opening race of the festival, and yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Well, to think that he was back at the end of October, he won at Newton Abbot. with all due respect to Newton Abbot, you don't normally expect to see a horse win there that goes on to be one of the best British challengers for the Supreme. Has he surprised you how well he's developed over the year?
I think so. He's always schooled very well, and he flatters to deceive at home, and albeit he had good flat form, and that's the reason why we bought him. And we just wanted to start him off quietly and let him build and progress and not overface him. And we were obviously delighted with how he performed at Newton Abbot, took a step forward at Ascot, and progressed again at Sandown. So hopefully he can keep on that upward curve. He'll need to beat the best in novices over 2 miles.
And as well, you decided not to go to Newbury, and then when Newbury was put back a week, that probably made your decision even better, didn't it?
Yeah, I think definitely it was. It was always going to be a tough ask trying to win a Betfair off second top weight, and as you saw from the winner and the runner-up, they were both novices rated in the low 130s, and they'd been better plotted or planned in by their connections in terms of winning a valuable handicap like that. But I said at the time, winning the Tolworth by 12 lengths was not really the way to go if we were serious about winning the Betfair. But anyway, look, we can't complain. He's a Grade 1 winner, and we're hoping he can go and win another Grade 1, obviously, on the opening day.
Metier, right then, let's rejoin Matt. And Matt, you've been speaking to another member of the team. We're going to get the Irish angle all week long from one of my favourite jockeys at Cheltenham. He's had 10 Cheltenham winners. Unfortunately, the Godfather can't be there.
He can't, yeah. We'll hear from him, as you mentioned, throughout the week. And caught up with him about Ballyadam, a horse he knows well, of course, from the Denise Foster stable now. Jack, from Switch Henry to Bromley, I should say, Jack Kennedy is on board. I mentioned twice he's seen the backside of Appreciator, but I said, is he worth a third crack at him in the Supreme Novices Hurdle?
He was well publicised. He wasn't right at Christmas, but he's come back. I thought he ran a hell of a race. Jack came back in, said he got caught maybe a fraction wide on him. Look, that's racing, but he thought that bit of nicer ground, the helter-skelter of a Supreme, he jumped really well, and just with the better ground might see a bit more improvement in him, you know. So yeah, look at I was far more encouraged from what Ballyadam done yesterday than at Christmas anyway. So fingers crossed now he will go to Cheltenham in rude health, you know.
I love Jamie Codd. I tell you, it's a bit more difficult this year, isn't it? The National Hunt Chase and the Kim Yard used to go, right, what's Jamie Codd on? Going to have to do some work this year, Tom.
Oh, he's a very good driver.
Well, he would have been on Galvin, wouldn't he, in the National Hunt Chase? So
he would. Galvin, 4 from 4 over fences this season. We'll come to that.
Yeah. Let's talk Supreme. Come on, selection time Supreme.
I was going to say, nail it. Take it away, Mark. What do you like?
You go.
All right.
You're the expert.
Well, listen, contrary to public opinion and contrary to the market move, because he's drifting like the proverbial barge, note the little P next to Soaring Glory's name. That means first-time cheek pieces, not McCurrick sideburns, but the actual sheepskin cheek pieces. John Joe O'Neill Jr. riding for his dad. I mentioned he won the Betfair Hurdle. That's a route that has provided winners of this. Remember, Kalashnikov second 3 years ago, so there's recent precedent with the headgear. I know he's got a few pounds to find. I don't think this is an excuse about the ground. 11-1 each way. I only need to get him into 3 and have a nice profit for the opening race. So, Soaring Glory.
I'm going Blue Lord each way, the Mullins second string. What are you going, big man?
Yeah, you mentioned it's got an each way makeup, hasn't it? You know what, Ballyadam beaten 16 lengths over Christmas when things weren't right. Beaten 3.5 lengths last time out. He's getting closer to Appreciate It. I'd rather back him at 6-5 than Appreciate It at 5-6. So Ballyadam for me to get into the 3. And I think he could get a lot closer on this slightly better ground this afternoon.
Right, that is the first. We've still got 6 more races to talk about. By the way, there is a special offer on the website. If you are second in the Supreme, you get a free bet back up to £10 on the Supreme. We're also top price on the Champion Hurdle. If you want to get involved, by the way, send us some comments. Yes, before you send it in, I do know I need a haircut. And obviously need to do something about the sides as well. I'm beginning to look like Paulie, aren't I, out of The Sopranos. So, yeah, if you want to come and abuse me, just put it online. We're happy for abuse. But we'd like your tips as well. We'd also like, where you're watching it or what excuse you've made to watch it this afternoon from home as well. Get on the comment section on Facebook
There's no
or
excuse.
on Twitter.
You need an excuse if you're not watching. That's the only excuse.
Well, exactly, but I suppose some people might not have taken the time off work, Tom, and trying to wing it.
Anybody who's done that, that's deeply antisocial and a schoolboy error that needs to be forgotten very quickly.
It's not working from home this week, it's watching from home, isn't it? That's what you want to be doing. Right, let's have a few festival memories. Of course, on Friday, we are going to see Al Boumphoto going for the hat-trick and hopefully joining the greats like Golden Miller won it 5 times, Cottage Rake 3 times, Arkle won it 3 times, and in 2002, 2003, 2004, we saw this, Best Mate.
Best Mate on the right there, with every chance. Harbour Pilots to Rembrandt out wider. Here's 3 out, first gold from Best Mate up the inner. Then Harbour Pilots to Rembrandt there, clear of B4 Salmon and the Real Bandit. They race towards the final turn, first gold, and Best Mate being held in there by Harbour Pilots. Didn't get a good run as they race for the turns to Rembrandt, takes off out wide. They've got 2 fences left to jump. First gold is joined by Harbour Pilot. Best Mate has got to get out of trouble and now pulls wide at the front pair. Then Sir Rembrandt wider out. B4 Salmon is 5th. At the second last, Best Mate, great jump, and there he takes it up. And 38 years on, now Best Mate has his big chance to emulate Arkle. Heading down to the last is Best Mate from Harbour Pilot. Best Mate a half length to Harbour Pilot. Sir Rembrandt is back in 3rd. Best Mate, he's a length ahead of Harbour Pilot. Starting up the hill, it's familiar territory. Best Mate from Harbour Pilot. Sir Rembrandt on the outside. Can he hang on? He's clinging on. Best Mate bounding away. Best Mate, 3 gold cups.
That was 2004, wasn't it? 8 to 11 Best Mate was that day. Al Boumphoto is not going to go off 8 to 11. I think it'll go off about, well, it depends what week put my tea back in. Depends what week Willie Mullins has. About 3 to 1, do you reckon? 5 to 2, 3 to 1?
Both of which would be very welcome. He wins.
Do you think? Amazing, isn't it? Never won the Gold Cup before, and now about to go for a hat-trick.
Well, it's a numbers game. He's throwing some serious ammunition at it, and for all that he was playing it down, I think it was only a matter of time. And how things change. Going into Cheltenham 2 years ago, I went on Gold Cup day, and of course it was all about the Mullins hoodoo. Is he ever going to win it? Sure enough, fast forward 104 weeks, and isn't he going for the hat-trick?
Right, at the moment, I'm afraid there's no social corners in pubs, is there? But we've got a social corner here. Matt, what questions have we had so far?
Yeah, I've got a couple then for you. First of all, very quickly, Dave from Dagenham. We've just seen Best Mate there. What are your favourite festival moments?
Me, personally? Dave's interested in what my personal moments are. Well,
that's what he's asking.
It would probably be, I think John Joe would be involved in all 3, so it'd be Dawn Run. Then I think Wichita Lineman, the way McCoy basically picks up Wichita Lineman and then carries it over the line, just phenomenal. And I love that song by Glenn Campbell as well. And I think Synchronised. Okay. The way he won the Gold Cup, and again McCoy had to stoke up Synchronised about 4 or 5 times, and plus I was on Synchronised at a big price.
Can I also pitch in with a Mark Pearson festival moment? You did mention a time or two, only maybe running into the hundreds, about the time you backed Dana of Kim Bailey's at 33 to 1.
No, I got 40 to 1.
Right, and, so my apologies. Yeah,
and I also backed the package that day. And did Nash run that day as well? I had 4 winners, but I was too hungover to walk to the Ladbrokes to put a lucky 15 on. Cost me thousands that day. Going out the night before.
That is the sort of commitment to both athletics and the punting cause that we would expect. Nothing.
That hill is quite big at Cheltenham. The big man has to get a taxi up it. Matt, give us some more questions.
Yeah, I've got another one there. Andrew on Facebook. He says, has to be a favourite stage. It is every Cheltenham Tuesday. Does Tom and Mark think that Epitang can overturn the Honey? And I think he's made a spelling mistake. He says, how far for Concertista? I think he means how far behind Roxana will Concertista be?
Will Epitang beat Honeysuckle? No.
She's the champ.
She was the champ in 2020. 2021's a new book.
And she's still the champ to 3:05.
Well, it's not strictly true, is it? She was the champ at 3:05 12 months ago. Whether or not what she's achieved since then backs that up. She was beaten by Silver Streak. Rupert likes Silver Streak. I mean, I like the idea of bumping into Kate Moss. It's not going to happen. Let's be realistic about this. Roxana wins. I think he's right. Honeysuckle wins. I'm right. End of story. Good question, though.
Any more, Matt?
Just Damien Lane says that is a great head of hair as well.
Yeah, I nearly went to Wrexham yesterday to get it cut. But yeah, look, there's quite a few of us desperate for haircuts.
Appointment only.
There's quite a few of us desperate for haircuts at the moment. But right now, I'm just looking forward to the 28 races. Right, I enjoyed that. Let's talk the Arkle now, the second race on the card. And we've had a Willie Mullins hot pot in the first. We've got a Nicky Henderson hot pot in the second.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting, Mark, because if I give you 4 names, what have they all got in common? Envoy Allen, Monkfish, Royal Pagaille and Shishkin. They're the novice chasers this season, rated 160 or more.
It's possibly the best novice chasers we've ever had going into
Yep, I'd agree with
Festival.
that. Work through them. There are only 4 rivals to Shishkin, who, in his own realm, is a serious horse. Even in a yard full of stars, he is some tool, this. Last year's, and in a rough race as well, last year's Supreme winner. So as a young horse, as only a 6-year-old, he came through some real muck and bullets to win the Supreme. Since then, what's he been doing? Winning graded races. He's won twice at Kempton this season. He's won at Doncaster. We know he goes up the hill. And frankly, Mark...
Before we watch last year's Supreme, let me just put one thing to you.
Yep.
And I hope I'm wrong, by the way, because I want to see the best horses. Altior's got a cough. I'm not an equine expert, by any chance, as you know. Is that a concern for the Henderson string now? Could that be the only chink in the armour? There's a cough in the Henderson yard, isn't there?
Shishkin won't be running unless he's been what they call scoped, which is where the trainers and their assistants or the vet will put a camera on a tube down into their lungs and see if basically is there any gunge in there. Is there any snot in there,
like a
really?
fitness test.
Exactly, but you think a racehorse is like having a playground full of children. So if they're all running around, if one gets a cold, it will go through those that are in the vicinity. No irony given the year that we've had. But with Shishkin, does he stand anywhere near Altior? Has he been in contact with him? Has he used the same bridle? Has he been drinking out the same bucket? Probably not. No. I imagine Henderson will have him there. And it's a good question. It's a smart question and a totally understandable one. Because when he runs stink... No, for real.
I don't normally ask smart questions, so thanks very much.
Well, listen, you backed Dana 20 years ago, so we needed to give you a bit of credit somewhere.
That day.
But did you put the lucky 15? No.
No, I didn't.
Listen, Shishkin, if he runs stink this afternoon, they might turn around and go, we never saw it coming.
Let's see. This is last year the Supreme.
Yep.
OK. Now, incredibly, we pushed it in the morning. I think we went something like 2-1 to 7-2. Actually went off 6-1, Shishkin.
And yet...
Just gets up. And obviously that's abracadabras, which we'll be talking about in the Champion Hurdle.
Absolutely. I just love his attitude. He's so willing. The way he sticks his neck out, he's absolutely as tough as they come. He makes a lovely shape over his fences. He's got high cruising speed. Nothing seems to worry him. Great temperament before the race. He has it. Seemingly, he has it all, Mark. Yes, they can disappoint you and they're not machines, but I struggle to see working through these. On ratings, he towers above them. He's the one who doesn't have question marks, whereas... Say, for example, the obvious one to put it up to him. And I know people will be watching this now saying, well, hang on a minute, I'm backing All Mankind today. My big concern there, he's a bulldozer, All Mankind. He's a tearaway. He goes off 100 million miles an hour. He was good at Warwick. I was there that day when he won the Kingmaker recently. But if you watch the tape of that race, look at him 2 from home. He nearly destroys the fence. I mean, if he puts in a mistake like that today...
No, but you've got to jump at Warwick, haven't you?
Oh,
which goes in good stead for Cheltenham.
That much is true. They're great, big, solid, stiff fences
quick
at Warwick. Yes, they do. And not only that, it's a very, very sharp bend for home. Yeah. Not like Cheltenham, but they've got to be nimble and they've got to be quick.
And also, Skelton's a banging form.
He found a way to get himself out of trouble that day. This won't be as forgiving. Even half of a mistake as bad as the one he made at Warwick, curtains goodbye, because Shishkin will be gone.
Right then, let's look at the betting. So, Appreciate wins the first. Shishkin wins the second, Matt. Yeah. It's an easy game, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've had a comment from Beefy Taylor actually saying Appreciate does wins all us so-called experts while we're trying to get it beat. Keep it simple. Look, 24 hours ago, Shishkin was past the post for me. He could not be beaten. And the market suggests it's still the case. There is that little bit of a doubt with the coffin on Alto, like you just discussed. But if there was a small doubt, he would start to drift. He is not. He's a solid 2s on chance. All Mankind is going to set it up for him, like you say, go off like a scolded cat. Is 11-2, and maybe something like Captain Guinness or even Franco de Port will be ridden quiet out the back to come through for the forecast spot. But look, he is 2s on for a reason. We've seen him winning last year. Let's have a look at him over fences then, Shishkin. This is winning at Kempton. Now you've got Gumball on the inside, who we're still in contention at Cheltenham and falling 2 up behind.
And this is over Christmas, isn't it?
This is the day after Boxing Day. And in second there is Tamarok Damatan. Look at him. Nico just had a look over his shoulder. He's treated him with absolute contempt. He's come out at that track and won a Grade 2 since, impressively. So he's absolutely destroyed him. He's been to Doncaster since and done something similar. He is a bit of a freak, and he's going to take the world.
So without getting carried away, could we start talking about Shishkin, you know, in that sort of Altior Sprinter Sacre bracket? Is he that good?
He's already been likened to him, hasn't he? Because he's going through the same route as Altior when winning the Supreme, going on to the Arkle, and be favourite for the champion chase. This is all mankind, as Tom was just saying. You'd make a couple of errors, an alarming error as well, which he will not get away with this afternoon. That's beating the Grand Annual, one of the Grand Annual fancies, Sky Pirate and the Kingmaker. But he's going to go out and he's going to make it. And what he's going to do is set it up for Shishkin. And when he gets to that bottom of the hill, we saw what happened with All Mankind last year in the Triumph. When he gets to that bottom of the hill, I think Shishkin's going to be looming large, and it'll be simply bounding up the hill and too good for him.
So, selection time. Tom?
There is no alternative. Shishkin.
OK, I'm actually going Captain Guinness, and I've done the double with Put the Kettle On in the Champion Chase, my 2 favourite drinks. Lucas says not running for the treble. So there we are. Captain Guinness for me. Right then, Matt, what is still to come on the morning line?
Absolutely plenty. We're going to hear from Evan Williams on his dashing grey silver streak. He'll load the cause of champion epitaph, of course, Christmas. Jockey Matt Griffiths as well. He's got a big ride tomorrow. We'll see what he thinks, because I think he's edging towards Goshen, looking for redemption in the champion. We'll get an industry expert view you can trust as well. No problem there, Tom, with Tanya Stevenson's thoughts. And also we'll be back in the shadows of Cleve Hill as well to hear from Talk Sports Rupert Bell. And don't forget, in 2.5 hours' time, Fred himself will be sat in this very studio to give you his pushes direct as well. And of course, please keep on sending your messages through for social media as well. We'll try and get as many of those answered as we can.
Thanks very much, Matt. Right, time to talk the feature race. The feature race this week is at 3:05 every day. And look at this, we are top price all runners on the champion hurdle. So we are top price all runners until we get the first show. We'll get the first show on the champion hurdle about 2:45, won't we? So basically we're guaranteeing we are top price on all champion runners until we get the first show. So the champion hurdle off at 3:05. And there is a gamble going on, and it's on Honeysuckle. Rachel Blackmore on board, trained by Henry de Bromhead. Won at the festival last year, won the Irish Champion Hurdle. The rain on Sunday night is perfect, gets the mare's allowance, getting backed. Was as short as 5-4 at one point this morning, now just out slightly to 11-8, but a lot shorter than the 5-2 that was around on Sunday night and at times yesterday. Honeysuckle, I know obviously through your work at RTE, Tom, you know the Irish form very, very well. Now, she was impressive in the Irish Champion Hurdle. But I'm going to ask the question that people always ask, what did she beat?
Well, she beat Abracadabras, who we just seen keeping Shishkin honest all the way to the line in the Supreme Novice.
And the interesting thing about Abracadabras as well, if you take out Shishkin, Abracadabras is about 12 lengths clear of anything else in that Supreme.
However, she didn't just beat him, she beat him black and blue. I mean, the rest of them were...
Oh, she battered them?
The rest of them were dizzy and being carried out on stretchers. I mean, she went round there, she's won 6 Grade 1s, she's undefeated, she's ultra consistent.
What happens if she's in a fight? Because she's just been, obviously, winning easy.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you about her in a fight, because the day that she was headed going to the last in the same race 12 months ago, I did the post-race interview walking back with the long microphone, and I said, Rachel, that was some scrap. And she looked down to me and she said, doesn't matter, she can do it all. She can do it easy, she can do the dirty work. And when it comes on top, when there's a fight to be had, there is plenty under the bonnet. She's going to need it today because, again, like the front of the programme, we talk about Appreciate It, we talk about Shishkin, we talk about Honeysuckle. If it was that easy, we'd turn up, we'd have our bets, and we'd all be millionaires. And yet Cheltenham has a way of...
Well, it was in 2015.
Cheltenham has a way, you know yourself, of exposing any flaw, any little deficiency, weakness, if they're even a couple of % off their game, particularly at this level. You've got Epatante, last year's winner, same rating as Honeysuckle, same mare's allowance. You've got the horse that beat epatante at Christmas that Rupert likes, Silver Streak. You've got, and this wonderful little horse, the stats aren't great for 5-year-olds. They rarely win, although one did 2 years ago. But you've got this remarkable little horse, Goshen.
But won the Triumph Hurdle, didn't it? I turned away.
Well, he nearly won the Triumph Hurdle.
That's so unlucky.
It was astonishingly unlucky. And a lot of nonsense, frankly, was said of people who were aggrieved and angry.
You know Jamie Moore. I mean, naturally, he was absolutely gutted.
He was distraught, and I don't think that'll ever leave him. But
redemption today.
This is the great thing about sport.
The way he won the Kingwell at Wincanton.
You're only ever 90 minutes or a race or a match away from redemption. And this Goshen, to me, if there's to be not an upset today, because Goshen in his own right, coming off the back of his win in the trial at Wincanton in the Kingwell, he himself is a serious noise.
I think Goshen is an absolute cracking bet today.
But Mark, just look at his profile. So, all right, with different luck, he would have won the Triumph by a street 12 months ago. Since then, he's had 2 miserable runs on the flat. He's finished with a fibrillating heart in the international hurdle at Cheltenham. There weren't just question marks. There was a truckload of uncertainty about this horse going into Wincanton, and yet he absolutely destroyed them. Which Goshen turns up today? And at any rate, even if it's the best Goshen...
I think the Triumph Goshen turns up today, but Claire's the last. And Claire's the last in front and wins the champion hurdle.
But is even the Triumph Goshen good enough to beat Honeysuckle, conceding £7? The girls get £7 weight allowance.
Well, that's what makes Epatante the champion and Honeysuckle interesting, isn't it? And I tell you what, it's the smallest Supreme ever, isn't it? And we've only got 84 runners today on the whole of day one. Last year we had 109. 2 years ago at 118, so it's small fields this year.
I'll give you a good...
But whatever you say about the small fields this year at Cheltenham, this is a cracking champion hurdle. This is one of the best champion hurdles we've had in a number of years.
Not only that, it's one of the most exciting because you can make very strong, persuasive and deep arguments for Honeysuckle for all the reasons given. I know I've dismissed Epatante, and maybe I'm being a bit cruel, but I don't like...
Well, I think you've got to dismiss on that Christmas hurdle performance.
It's only one race, though. It's only one race, and we've seen with Goshen, redemption.
But it was great at Newcastle. Yeah.
Absolutely, and if she comes out and wins today, people will say, "Oh, what value was one race at Christmas on a very different track?" She'll come back and do what she does, and of course, Goshen.
Well, let's do the most important analysis. Let's have a look at the betting, Tom. So, Matt, tell us the betting, and then you can give us some insight into Goshen. So go through the betting and give us some insight on Goshen.
OK, well, as you've been talking, Honeysuckle's just eased out slightly, as you see, to 6-4. These are top prices. We are best price every runner.
So that's why they're moving all the time, isn't it? Because we're going to be top price.
All the time. So Honeysuckle, 6-4. Epatante, the reigning champion, 7-2. Well, let's talk about Goshen then. 11-2. So impressive at Kempton. I know Jamie Moore's so popular in the weighing room. Let's hear from one of his colleagues then, Matt Griffiths. He's got a huge ride in the opener tomorrow, but he thinks even with an empty Cheltenham, there'll be a huge roar if Goshen jumps the last in front.
Yeah, I know which one I'd be shouting for. You know, after what happened last year with Jamie, and you wouldn't meet a nicer fella to ride against than Jamie and all the Moors. You know, they're smashing family, and I think, you know, Jamie kicked himself for last year, but you know, it's the way he rides, and it was just unfortunate the two shoes got stuck together for whatever reason, and if it hadn't happened, he wouldn't have fell off. It just sort of kicked him out the saddle. But yeah, you know, there'll be, even with no crowd, there'll be a fair roar at Cheltenham if Jamie's in front going to the last on Goshen, because he's a very popular fella, and I'd love to see Goshen win.
He is. I just want to touch on that. He's well received, isn't he, in the weighing room, and that was everyone's reaction afterwards. The whole family, they took it so gracefully, and I really do. A lot of people are looking for redemption for them this March.
Yeah, look, you know, Jamie said himself that Gary's been riding him out, and it's a massive family operation, obviously, with Josh, and you know, everyone knows how good Ryan is, and Hayley, and the whole team. You know, it's massive for the family, and you know, like I say, you would meet a nicer fella in the weighing room than Jamie, and it would mean a lot to him, I know, with his family and everybody. You know, no one would begrudge him winning.
Let's get more build-up to the champion hurdle. We talked about Epatante's disappointing performance last time. We're beat by Silver Streak in the Christmas hurdle. We can hear from Silver Streak's trainer, Evan Williams.
Well, Evan, lovely to see Silver Streak again. He's getting better and better. I mean, how happy are you as he goes into yet another champion hurdle with perhaps an extra degree of expectation now?
Well, he's no doubt he's improved. His form has definitely improved. To win his Grade 1 in the Christmas hurdle was something which I'd always tried to do. Well, it's just nice to, hey, look, to get there for another go at the champion hurdle would be fantastic.
How satisfied were you that he was able to win a big one?
He'd run so incredibly well on so many occasions and been second, and to get the breakthrough in the Grade 1 meant an awful lot.
He's only 8, and he is the marker, once again, of the champion hurdle division.
Well, he's a great horse to mark any performance by because, you know, he does normally run his race, and he's a tough horse. That's one thing that people have to realise. He's an extremely tough horse, and if you beat him, you've been in a race.
Normally, if you win the Christmas hurdle, you'd be a very short price for the champion hurdle.
Yeah, but look at the broader sample of his form. 6th a year ago. Evans just said he thinks he's a better horse now, but he's going to have to be because, yeah, he ran very well in the international hurdle, but even that form's not good enough. At Christmas time, and I'm talking about Epatante now, was 1-5. He was 13-2. I think, if you're honest, he might squeeze into the frame and win a big chunk of prize money. I think Kempton on Boxing Day, St Stephen's Day, depending on where you're watching, was his champion hurdle. I don't want to be unkind, but I think you've got to be disappointed if Silver Streak wins today and actually manages to shoot down all 3 of Honeysuckle, Epatante again, and Goshen. And just talk about Evan Williams, he was smiling there. I think he was smiling because he's got a great chance of having a winner today, not Silver Streak, but a horse called Sabbatical in Sedgefield.
Right, OK, yeah. Always have a look at the other racing. Right then, Tom, selection time for champion hurdle.
The heart says, please, Goshen. The head and the wallet, there's not even a choice. Honeysuckle.
I'm not interested in the heart, so Honeysuckle. Matt?
Absolutely echo what Tom said. We do want to know about the heart because Goshen, it would be such a huge story.
You don't win money with the heart, mate, so balls to the heart.
Well, Honeysuckle...
The heart's got you in lots of trouble over years, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Including Bill for solicitor. But...
Honeysuckle's been clipped into 7-5 now, forever moving. Moving swiftly on, 25-1 Silver Streak.
Right, I'm going for Goshen and redemption, and it's not just for heart. It won the triumph, basically. Forget the last. I'm going to go for Goshen to win the champion hurdle.
He won the triumph. I'm not sure if you looked in his Weatherby's account of the owner after the race. I'm not sure that I'm not sure they paid out, and I'm not sure. I
thought that Kingwell performance was impressive, and he was still going at the line in the Kingwell as well. So that's why I'm going Goshen.
Mark, he was magic at Wincanton, and he was brilliant on the Friday.
I think we've all got into look. I couldn't give a damn about the Pressbury Cup. I couldn't give a damn if all 28 are trained in Ireland, as long as I've backed a few of those 28. But I do think some of the Irish horses on day one are getting overhyped and overbacked.
One way to find out.
Exactly. I could be very, very wrong tomorrow when 7 Irish winners go in today. Right then, Matt. The Ultima handicap. This is more like it. And how many places are we on the 230, Matt?
Well, it is the first handicap of the festival, so we are 5 places in the Ultima handicap. 5 places on this. We're extra places on most of the handicaps that come in throughout the week, but you can have 5 places, an extra place on the Ultima. So let's have a look at the betting, how we bet. Happy Go Lucky. Been a gamble for this race for a couple of weeks now. 130 for Kim Bailey. Could be a huge week for Kim Bailey.
Kim Bailey's horses are in great form, but 100 to 30, is that not a bit short for the Ultima?
Just don't forget it's a smaller field than usual. It's only 16 runners going to post here. I Right is 11 to. That's been an anti-post gamble as well. And I really do like Milan Native here. A festival winner, won the Kim Muir 12 months ago. I think him at 7-1 with Jack Kennedy on board will be really hard to keep out of the first 5.
Let's have a look then at Happy Go Lucky. There's obviously got Cheltenham form, Matt.
Yeah, he certainly has. Let's have a look at him then. This is him winning, as a little novice chase. Beating Hold That Note, who actually runs. There's a big chance in the Kim Muir later on in the week. So this is, you've got Mighty Don back in 3rd as well, who runs in the National Hunt Chase. So all of these will be turning up this week. But he does this really nicely. This is over the track and trip as well. He's going to challenge this after, although he's on the other course. And he also finished second at Fakenham. I don't think that was his track. He was behind Getaway Trump on that occasion of Paul Nicholls. But we know he handles the track. He seemed just wandering a little bit in the closing stages there. I think he was just getting a little bit lonely, that's all. We know he stays well. And 26 years since Kim Bailey won the Champion and Gold Cup double with Alderbrook and Master Oaks. He's got a big chance in the Champion Chase, and this could give him a cracking fillip on the eve of that big race.
And finally, this is Milan native, trained by... this is Right, isn't it? Sorry, yeah.
This is Right. Well, this form isn't too bad, is it? Because this is Cloth Cap winning this. This is the old Hennessy to you and I, Ladbrokes Trophies is now. Behind Cloth Cap, favourite for the Grand National, sticking on to finish second on that occasion. No Cloth Cap in this race. He's gone on and franked his form in style at Kelso, and he was getting a lot of weight as well, Cloth Cap off our rate. This is a real good performance, and Richard Johnson's on board for just the second time. The first time he rode Right, he was in the winner's enclosure.
Yeah, I fancy Right today as well. And Cloth Cap obviously looks to have a great chance for the Grand National, which we'll talk later. This is Milan native, now trained by, of course, Sneezy Foster. Why is she called Sneezy?
In the same way that you've got Boots and Slippers and Sneezy and Shark and various other nicknames that take about a month to explain. And when you get to the punchline, it's not amusing. Let's just brush over that. But
Look, obviously, she's come in last minute, but she's taking over some quality horses.
And then some, yeah, that's a bit of an understatement. Milan native on this sort of form, festival form, winning form, into Kim Muir, huge chance. He's had a wind-up since last we saw him. Let's not also forget that he won first time out this season in Galway, second in Wexford. He's been quiet the last twice, but of course, if they were lining him up, Mark, for a handicap, you wouldn't want to be getting too busy. You just want to keep him zinging and try and produce him for the big day. So Milan native, Matt likes him. Prepared by that stable, you'd like to think that with his festival form in the bank and with the rain falling for a horse by, obviously, Milan, that's going to be in his favour as well. I think the danger here, Mark, when we talk about horses like Right, you look at horses that have got no secrets from the handicapper, and what I mean by that is, go back through the trends, the last 13 runnings of this, 8 of those 13 runnings, the winner came from horses rated between 142 and 148. So that's the figure the handicapper gives, a bit like you have a handicap in golf, based upon proven displayed ability. So you're trying to find something who maybe has still got the best days ahead of them. Right's got no secrets. We've seen him now second in the Hennessy, 5th last year in the Grade 1 behind Champ. You're looking for something with the improvements still to come. So some really good points have been made by the pair of you about Kim Bailey. 51 winners this season.
Good winner on Saturday, that flirtatious lady.
Not only that, he had one on Friday as well. So the stable are in cracking form. They could ride them to the track. He's so close. He's in a village called Andoversford. He's 6 miles away from the racecourse. So it's not as if they've had to get on a ferry or come out of their comfort zone. Everything looks right for the horse who, don't forget, with Happy Go Lucky, he ran at the festival 12 months ago as well. He was 4th in the Martin Pipe, and he's a recent course winner. I think there's a danger here that you look and look and look and try and make arguments beyond the favourite. I think there's an outstanding favourite there, and he's only 7-year-old.
One for team, I think it's interesting as well for Nick Williams. He won this race with Kustar Savola, didn't he, a few years ago. Right, before I get a selections from the boys, let's introduce another member of the team. At 6 o'clock every night, we'll be wrapping up what's gone on and looking ahead to the next day. It's with Joe Ross, and his Joe Ross really fancies one in the Ultima.
Race 3, day 1, the Ultima handicap chase. I've been banging on about this horse for a while now, and people have got involved because he's a market mover. Right is the horse in question we're talking about. You can't knock the form. 3rd, Charlie Hall Chase. 2nd, Ladbrokes Trophy, that took the massive boost from that Cloth Cap form. 2nd in Skybet Chase on soft ground. The ground will be better at Cheltenham this time of year, and I think he'll go a lot better here. 5th last year in the RSA when he pretty much took every single fence home with him as a souvenir. He's rated 154 off a high weight, many people would say, but I think it's an absolutely cracking bet this year. Callum Bewley is rode him in 21 of his 22 starts, doesn't take the ride, he's suspended, taken over the veteran, Richard Johnson. So Dickie takes over. He's the only other jockey to win on Right, and he's ridden him once, and he's 1 from 1. Hopefully, in the Ultima handicap, Dickie will be 2 from 2. Right is my tip.
I actually agree with Joel. I'm going for R right in the Ultima. Tom, what are you going for?
Same as the whole week. Sums it up nicely. Happy, go, lucky.
Yep. Matthew, what are you going for?
No better form than festival form, a land native for me.
Right, let's move on to the 340, which is now... There's quite a few name changes this year, isn't it? It's hard to keep track, but the 340 now is the Close Brothers Mares Hurdle, or the David Nicholson Mares Hurdle, as quite a lot of us know it. And, of course, we've got another hot pot here, trained by Willie Mullins.
I think this is very hard, Mark. You're talking about Concertista, who won the other mares race, the mares novice hurdle, 12 months ago. So she's got recent festival winning form. She's been to the track and done it with a crowd in there. So arguably this is easier without the pressure and the expectation. And it was a big field as well. And yet you see the way she came there, absolutely swinging. You'd imagine that the rider is sitting there thinking, well, this is almost, I can't believe how well I'm going. But going well she was, and she saw it out very nicely.
She was second the year before in this as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, and she's got good size and scope about her, and you see the way she pulls away clear there at the end of this. She looks like a fresh horse, so she was razor sharp and fit for this at the end of her, well... What for the rest of them? Look at the way they're finishing in a heat behind her.
My only concern is that Willie Mullins has only won 14 of the 18 mares races at Cheltenham. Well, so he doesn't know what he's doing. He's won it, what? He's won that race 9 times, hasn't he?
Exactly, and overall, of the 13 runnings, 11 of them trained in Ireland, so...
I mean, obviously, I know he had Q Vega, but, you know, it's just...
Sure.
So why are we looking at something else? Why are we trying to talk ourselves out of a Willie Mullins favourite?
Right, well, I'll give you a very good and a very strong reason to that. Look at the level and depth of opposition. This is with maximum respect to Concertista, because not just the clip you've just seen, but she's unblemished this season, Fairyhouse and Leopardstown. She's delivered for the punters. Dame de Company is back over hurdles here, potential to improve. She loves Cheltenham. She absolutely adores Cheltenham. She just doesn't know how to run a bad race here. And indeed, she won the Coral Cup at this meeting 12 months ago. That is a serious piece of form. She's got speed, but she's also got stamina, and she loves Cheltenham. We know she goes up the hill. Another horse who's got festival winning form and won this race 12 months ago, was fourth in a better running. OK, so she wasn't good enough 12 months ago, but it was still a respectable effort, is Roxana, who since then, when you look at her runs in Wetherby, and particularly in Ascot, she's been mixing it with the boys over further. In a hard-run race over 2.5 miles round Cheltenham, I get the impression at the prices that her trainer, Dan Skelton's quite sweet on her. He's mentioned her again and again when asked for a Cheltenham winner.
Before, of course.
Absolutely right.
Might have been handed it, but still won it.
Yeah, again, it was Gold Cup Day in 2019, and yes, she was handed it. It was fortuitous, to say the least, but she had to be there to pick up the pieces, and in fact, she's proven herself a very, very good stayer. And if she was to be running against Paisley Park and Beacon Edge and Co. on Thursday in the big race, she'd have a right chance. So therefore,
So why are they not running in the stayers? Is it the ground?
Why is she not running in the stayers? Well, she can run against her own sex. That's theoretically easier immediately. Maybe they think that Paisley Park is unbeatable. Perhaps they think that this is a race where they know that in the stayers, perhaps she'll be second, third or fourth. Everybody wants to win at Cheltenham. Doesn't matter what you win, everybody wants to win. I know Rich Ritchie's gone the ambitious route with Royal Pagaille, but with the Skeltons and with the Folks family who own this Roxana, I think they just want to win a race, and her best chance clearly is in this.
Well, let's join a man whose festival nap is in this race. Now you've got to be confident to have your nap on day one, haven't you? I always go for Friday, and at least you look good for a few days. So Matt, why are you going for Roxana?
You'd try and have your toxer on the Saturday, wouldn't you? Look, right.
Sprint Valley, but mine nap.
I think the prices are all wrong. I don't understand why there is such a big discrepancy. We know festival form Concertista. By the way, that feature we've just seen, that was her winning her first hurdle. She was second in the race the year before. She's won twice this season. She's beat Manila Melody by a couple of lengths and by 6 lengths. Manila Melody down here, 16-1. If you'd have put Paisley Park or Time Mill in any of those races, they would have destroyed them. Roxana finished just behind them when third at Ascot. And the winner at Wetherby, I mean, you've got to see it to believe it. She absolutely bolted up, beating Next Destination. he's favourite for the National Hunt Chase in the last. It is solid form. She drops in trip, which is a slight concern, but she's won this race before. She stays really well. She travels really well. The quicker pace might actually suit her. And if they get in a battle up the hill, there's only one horse I would want to be on. I think the discrepancy in prices is far too much, and I think Roxana, who's won this race before, and the Skeletons are on absolute fire. You're getting a really decent price, 11-4, because of that name there.
OK, you're boring me now, Matt. So Roxana for you. Tom?
I've borrowed his anorak, Roxana.
Right, I'm going to go Manila Melody each way. Sorry, Matt. Look, I've offended him now. He's sulking. You can be a bit boring, Matt, when it comes to the horses. OK, we've got to move on and come back to you, Matt, in fact. Have you got any more social questions for us?
Oh, you want me now, don't you? Yeah, I'm just going to have to dig deep as I've got through. Right, yeah, what's the best double for today? That is Kiko Bibo.
Tom?
The best double for today is...
Well, I know Fred's going to do a double at midday, so maybe you should wait and come back at midday and find out what Fred's double is.
Well, listen, I'm just going to throw something out there. The best double, if you say to me right now, I'm going to give you £5 free bet, you have to place it this instant. Honeysuckle in the Champion Hurdle at Cheltenham, sabbatical at Sedgefield for Evan Williams, who we saw on the screen talking about Silver Streak.
I'd go Captain Guinness in the Arkle and put the Catalan in the Champion Chase. Any more questions, Matt?
I just put Roxana would be better in the stayers, surely. A weight pull on Paisley Park with time with an on run. It seems a crazy decision, but I agree with you, Tom. Dan Skelton said she's going for the mares until she isn't. Basically, they're always targeting the mares. If they had a late decision because of the ground, they would go for the stage. But this was always the target. And like you say, everyone wants a festival winner.
And just to continue this bromance momentarily a bit further, I think what he's saying is right. I don't think the drop in trip in a fast run race on an ultra grueling track like Cheltenham with the rain falling is anything but a positive for Roxana. I think it only boosts her chance.
Right, thanks very much, gents. Keep sending in those comments. We're back live at midday. We've got 2 races to have a look at, including the Fred Winter, which is now the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle. And we've got joint favourites now, Matt.
We have, yeah, St Sam for Willie Mullins, who chased on Colexios last time out 9-2 with the gamble of the race, the anti-purse gamble, Hugri, who's got some good French form, although just finished ahead of this fella, Home Public, over in France, and he's in there at 10-1, double the price. So we're 6 places each one this one, so don't be afraid of having one at a decent price. And I quite like one at a big price as well, Mark.
Yeah, I do as well. Right, tell us a bit about the Fred Winter then, please, Tom.
Well, a big field of babies, 4-year-olds, so these are the handicappers who weren't deemed quite good enough to go for the Triumph Hurdle. When we talk about the Triumph Hurdle, we should obviously start with St Sam for Willie Mullins.
And I believe Willie talked the owners into going to this race,
well,
which is probably a hint in itself.
I think with good reason, because you see that he's rated 139. He's been finishing about 6 lengths behind Zanahir and Quilixios, who are the big guns alongside Tritonic in the Triumph Hurdle, Mark. So St Sam, if he's 6 lengths not as good as them, £1 for a length off 139, he's probably about right. Maybe a couple of pounds fairly handicapped. First time hood for him, obviously powerful connections and the right man on board. But there's a real interesting stat here. 10 of the 16 winners had only had the minimum 3 runs to qualify for a handicap, Mark. That's suggesting that horses have got surprises to come under the bonnet. I was going to pull 2 out of the hat, both of whom have only run 3 times. Number 6, Bustleton, who's been placed the last twice in very hot races at Leopardstown. Look at the P next to him. As I mentioned before, that's the sheepskin cheek pieces. Trainers have a canny knack of putting the headgear on first time at Cheltenham, lo and behold.
And Joseph O'Brien knows what he's doing.
Well,
so Bustleton for you, that's the selection, yeah.
Joseph O'Brien won this race 2 years ago as well. Bustleton will do nicely for me, 6-1, number 6, I should say, each way at a nice price with the cheek pieces on.
We are 6 places each way on this race as well. 6 places each way. We're about to talk the National Hunt Cup, but before we do, Matt, give us your selection for the, whatever it's called now, the Boodles Juvenile thing.
Yeah, it's right down the bottom. He actually got in as a first reserve, Curious Bride. Now, interestingly, I'm not reading too much into it, but the owners also have Tinner Hiller. That one has been pulled out, so Curious Bride does come into the race. Pulled up last time out, 2.5 miles, bottomless ground, held up. likes to go from the front, as shown when winning, beating a couple of these here at Punchestown in January. I think at a massive price. I think it's around about 33, 6 places
28
each way.
to 1 now, Matt. Do you know what? I agree. I'm on Curious Bride each way as well. I'm just playing up the 6 places each way. I think St Sam has got a cracking chance for Willie Mullins. Incredibly, last year, Willie Mullins had to wait until the bumper on day 2 to have a winner. Willie could quite easily have 3 or 4 today, couldn't he? So St Sam, worthy joint fav, but I fancy Curious Bride. Right, we saw a minute ago with 4 places each way in the National Hunt Cup. Talk us through this. Obviously, you've got a bit of insight after talking to Jamie Codd, who would have been on Galvin.
Yeah, it was one that he was really looking forward to riding here, Jamie Codd on Galvin, who's 7-2, been laid out for this race. Jack Kennedy comes in for the ride, but this is one of the gambles of the day now. Next Destination into 5-2, favourite for Paul Nicholls. Galvin at 7-2, he would be my pick, but he also gave a mention to Snow Leopardess, a horse he'd ridden previously as well. He'll stay and gets the mare's allowance each way there, 14-1, because we are, as you say, Mock, 4 places each way.
I think you've got to pay attention when a pipe horse is getting backed. Remastered is now into 11-2, so that is my selection in that. Your selection, just very quickly, just give us a horse in the National Hunt Chase.
Bet of Tuesday, you've just said it. Number 10, Remastered, the Reynoldstown winner, wins.
Interesting, I like it. So that was going to be my next question. The best bet today? Well, Tom, it's Remastered. I don't even know where I'm asking Matt. It's Roxana, isn't it, Matt? And I just think it's Goshen in the Champion Hurdle. Fellas, really, really enjoyed it. We are here at 9 o'clock every day this week for the morning line, and we're back at midday when Fred, who's got the pushes, and Matt is here at 6 o'clock wrapping up the day as well. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be very, very different, of course, because there's no crowd. The theatre is empty, but the stars of a show are still there. And the stars of a show, we're going to see 7 winners today. Be lucky.
Who are the punters backing? It's the one we've all been waiting for.
World-class racing.
The greatest show on turf. The calm before the roar.
Betfred, at the heart of Cheltenham.